Question 5. What made you choose Fenton as the eventual co-producer for Jagged? Well, I was having problems I was having time problems with sulfur, which I've already talked about. Wasn't too sure what to do about that, but realised I had a big problem. But I had known Aid for years, and in recent times he'd actually asked me to do some guest vocals on what was his own solo debut album. Now, up until then, his music, he's a techno DJ, so his music had always been techno orientated, obviously, and I'm not really a big fan of that, so I wasn't interested in it at all. But when he started asking me to do the guest vocals on his own album, which he calls proper music, without any insult intended to his techno friends, I'm sure, I was just really, really impressed with it as to how massive it sounded, and the sounds that he was using were just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And these were just the demos. Anyway, then he got me to sing on some stuff, which I did. And a bit later, he brought those songs back again, having done some more production work to them after my lyrics went on. After my vocals went on to his lyrics. I'd already been impressed, but the difference was it was amazing. Now they really sounded huge and epic. They were great. And then a bit after that, he brought them back and he'd done even more to them, and it was just getting better. And I couldn't believe it, how quickly they were improving and how brilliant they sounded from someone that was only working on their first ever album. And it was just massively impressive. And I thought that all this time I've been working on trying to come up with a direction and a sound for the album, and although I knew what I wanted, and although a lot of the stuff that had been done with the other people beforehand, I hadn't really touched that point that was going to be the starting point for the absolute ultimate direction of the album. I was still floundering around a little bit. And when I started to listen to what Aid was doing, I realised that if I could take elements of that and bolt it onto to what I was doing, and then kind of reshape it slightly, then I think I was there at that point. That was what I was looking for. And so I took a gamble and gave Aid one track called Scanner, and said, just go away with that and see what you think and see what you come up with, and then we just see where we go from there. Initially, it was a test. If the song came out really, really good, then maybe I'd have that song with Aid producing it on the album and attach it to the other things that I already had with the other people. Set up was the idea initially, and then if it was absolutely brilliant, then possibly do the rest of the album with him. I really wasn't sure at that point what was going to happen. I just wanted to see how it would turn out. And it was at this point that I gave Rob a track as well, the Fold song, with a similar idea, really. Anyway, it came back and it was really, really cool, really, really cool. And at that point, I thought I like this so much that I could actually see not just the rest of the album sounding like this, but what I'd done before possibly sounding like that. So then I gave him another couple of songs that had already been worked on and said have a go with those. And they come back and they were, again, absolutely brilliant. So I thought, this is it. But it's a big gamble because now we're halfway through 2005. So I just said to him, what do you think? Do you want to do the whole record? I mean, going back to all the things that have already been done and doing them again, plus all the other stuff that I've still got to write, which I'm now going to get on with. But we've only got 6 months at the most, to do it in. So what do you reckon? And we decided to go for it, and it was a massive job. You think you got to do an entire album, half of which is still to be written, in about 6 months, and completely redoing everything that's already been done so far. And the reason was that the things that have been done so far, great as they were, just had a different sound to what we were coming up with together, with what me and Aid were coming up with. And it wasn't possible to add the Aid Fenton produced songs to the others and for it all to sound as if it was one cohesive album. It sounded bits and pieces. It sounded like this person had done that song or someone else had done that song, and it just all sounded like bits and pieces. All good bits and pieces, but that's not what I wanted. And that's why I've kept the other versions, the previous versions, as separate things, and why they'll come out later in the year or whenever, because they are really good and I'm really proud of them, and I think what those people did was great, but it didn't hang together as a cohesive collection of songs, and that's what I wanted, and that's why I went with Aid, and that's why we redid everything, and we ended up with the Jagged that's out there now, and why I just think that was exactly the right decision, and I'm really happy with what we come up with.